at the time when the war was being fought, like when you enlisted, the war was already going on, correct, right?
Right.
So did you have any opinions about the war?
No, none at all. No, politically or any political or
Any
philosophical things. No, none. None at all. In fact, I was rather. All I kept thinking about was, okay, I'm going. So how do I survive? So it's about, okay, how do I get around there, and what do I do? During boot camp. One thing that did come up was it was during learning how to use a bayonet. Yeah, learning how to use a bayonet, the knife that's attached to the rifle. And so during the bayonet drill, they have a dummy made of hay or cloth or whatever, so it's in front of you. But the picture on they painted all of the dummies with Asian looks, so black hair and slanted eyes and shorter and that sort of thing. And the reference was gook and just all sorts of yellow bastards and that sort of thing. And then I remember some people kind of looking at me a little bit differently. I didn't even think of myself as being Asian, but they were looking at me differently. And then I'm looking at this bayonet dummy that you have to learn how to stab it in the heart. Jesus, what's up with this? And that was about the only thing I had that was already then went into the back of my mind. That then I remember what my father said, because my father fought in World War II, and he was Filipino, but when he went with the army, he went back to the Philippines, and I remember him telling me how on a couple of occasions he was almost killed by his own soldiers, the army and the Marines and whoever, because they thought he was Japanese. And I said, okay, got it. So, all right, I'm going to Vietnam. People look like me over there. Then I'd better be extra careful, because I don't want my ass shot off by somebody who's in the same army. And then they say, well, it was a mistake. So my whole thing was, no, I'm not going to be a mistake. And it was a concern of mine even before I went to Vietnam. Yeah, not to be a mistake. It was called friendly fire. Yeah, so everybody people get killed under friendly fire. That's you're thinking a little bit. Okay, how friendly was that fire?
So, were there any times where, I guess, your ethnicity was like an issue? Like, do you think there was any racial prejudice within, like, your boot camp or any time throughout the war?
Actually, no, it wasn't. I didn't feel that. Like I said, I felt it during that drill, and when everybody was, and then before I went over to Vietnam, I just kept hearing these terms that they would use, and terms I never heard of before. I didn't know gook was a derogatory term, that it was the same as using the word nigger. But they call an Asian person, whether he was Filipino, Chinese, Japanese, they just say, man, you a gook. I said, what? And then when I found out what it meant, I said, so if I were black, you call me a nigger, but I'm Asian, so you calling me a gook? Let me kick your ass right now, and let me shoot you now. And so that came up. But when I got to Vietnam, I used being Asian to my advantage. I was a medic, number one, and all the people, they liked me, and they invited me over to their homes for dinner or to have a meal, to be with their families. I was on patrols where we went out and gave medical care to the Vietnamese people in the villages and in the cities and their towns, communities. And so it was to my it was to my advantage. And when I'm looking back at it now, people would always come up to me around Vietnam, the Vietnamese people, and say, you same Vietnamese. And I remember I would always say, no, wait a minute, no, then pull out my ID card and show them, no, see, I'm American.
Yeah.
I'm American. But after a while, I said, no, you're right. I did learn. I am same Vietnamese. It's a damn shame we over here shooting everybody up.